Garry gets sick at the perfect time. I mean, any court case, from a strategic standpoint, will always try to push it out. Just get space, right? Time heals all wounds. Get space, get space. I feel like Garry's thing is done. I don't overly hear anybody talking about it. And by the way, you don't do great bringing up old news. I mean, not for nothing, but what would the point of that be? It's completely died out of the headlines. I don't know how he would have handled that. It seems as though Garry gets good advice. It seems like he's a coachable guy. This is me as an outsider, just looking at him, looking at his skills, looking at some of the things that he does. I feel like he gets it right. I feel like he's got really good advisors around him. He did not have good PR advice. But I don't think he's going to need it. I mean, Garry was the hottest thing in terms of drama. That was the most uncomfortable. That was the most forbidden topic. And then you hold a press conference. Colby Leon took that away from him. And the very next day, I'm not sure what Dricus had said to Strickland isn't even more so. And then you have the actual fight between Dricus and Strickland. And you have Leon winning and then denying Muhammad. I mean, Leon even said, I just don't think Muhammad should be able to cut the line. And I really would like clarity on that, by the way. But before I digress down that road, it would just seem as though if the biggest opponent you were facing was the questions of the topic that are so sensitive because it involves your wife and your family, I think you won. I don't think he's going to have to deal with that again. I mean, I don't think that he would have to deal with that today if there was a press conference. Today. And the reality is he won't be at a press conference until Miami in almost 4 months. So I think we are done with that one. He avoided that opponent, but don't forget, he also avoided Luque. I mean, not for nothing, that's an interesting match. And I know there's people within that gym that would have very strong opinions on what would have happened had that match happened. But none of them have talked. Not even Luque himself. Everybody has been very quiet about what they saw in the gym or sparring sessions. Everybody's been polite, real gentleman about that. I would be curious, moreover, with Garry if he returns to that gym. That's one piece of this that I've never felt we put paid to. I don't know where Garry was training when he left Leon's gym. Is that called Renegade? When he left Renegade, I don't know where he went. And I did see a video, and it was just kind of like Ian in the corner. There was a window in the backdrop. There was a gym out this away, but I couldn't see it. I didn't see a single person. I didn't see a single coach. But it felt like he was in an organized gym with a team setting. It felt that way. But I don't actually know it. And there were so many very interesting things. You know, if the WAG thing's going to come back up, the one that's going to have to bring it up is Jeff Neal. And I don't know that Jeff's going to do that. The other side of that is Garry brought up old stuff on Jeff. Like me saying that there's an expiration date. Things can be revived. I mean, Garry brought forward a mug shot of Jeff on the t-shirt. So it's not as though Jeff's going to go and play nice, but there is another side where there is going to be a part, even if you call it respect and you get respect through fear, there is going to be a part of Jeff Neal. Hey, leave that guy alone. Don't piss that guy off. When I did nothing to that guy, he went out and found this mugshot and brought up and put it on t-shirts. When I did nothing to him, if I piss him off, what is he willing to do? Like, it's just one of these things. And I would be curious if Garry is going to return to that gym. You will not find fighters that float around that do well. Like, there's a consistency that has to happen in professional sport. Period. There's a consistency. We're trying to go to bed at a similar time and get up each morning at a similar time. Your caloric intake has to do with your fats, your carbohydrates, and your proteins. Like, it's going to be similar every day. And there's just not anybody that you could find that floats around. In fact, you could do the opposite, though. You could find guys that float around that quit doing well. Here, I'll give you an example, not to pick on him, but because it's a name that you know, but that would be Conor McGregor. When Conor was at Straight Blast Gym, he was champion of the world. When he was at Straight Blast Gym, he was a two-time simultaneous champion of the world. When you start seeing results that weren't consistent with that of a two-time champion of the world, you also start reading reports. He trained in Abu Dhabi. That one, I have the foggiest idea what that was about, but I'm just sharing for you, right? When you're moving around, that lack of stability, that lack of who you can trust, that lack of consistent training partners, you have to be in an environment at a minimum. If you find the right environment, you're not guaranteed success. But if you don't put yourself in an environment, coaches that you look up to, not coaches that you coach, not you come and you tell the coach, okay, we're going to do 3 or 4 or 5 rounds of this. There's coaches out there for $100 an hour. They'll put you through that. But the champions don't have guys like that. And I think Gary's in a pretty good spot myself. I like him to buckle back down on the training. This was of no fault of his own. He was doing the best that he could. He was at a gym. He's going to fight his teammate. He tries to solve that problem so it's not awkward on anybody, and then he gets asked to leave. I mean, like, this isn't Gary's fault. But now that we're here, listening to what the guys out there at Hillcliff MMA had to say, they're very welcome to him coming back. Michael Chandler said that. Luque said that. Brady said that. Brady even said, I don't even like this guy. Yeah, he could come back. So I'll just be curious what he does. But I think as far as the book and the WAG and the whole routine there, I think that's behind him. And that's possibly a good thing. But there was going to be some real things that were going to be learned by going through that experience. I mean, when I tell you that he has very bad PR, it is very bad PR. And even if you were going to stub your toe a couple of times, there would have been a learning curve. There's a place in Thailand, and they'll teach you how to sword fight in 1 hour, guaranteed. It's $500 for the hour. But in 1 hour, you will know how to sword fight, guaranteed. Dude's like, know what their trick is? They use real swords. That's what the trick is. You sign a waiver, and then you get a real sword. So if you screw up, you're going to lose an arm. And I'm just sharing for you, right? Like that theory of you want to teach somebody how to swim, throw them in the deep end. Like, there's a truth to that. But as far as Gary and the WAG and Gary and Vince Luque, for me, for now, those feel like distant memories.